Today I am going to be talking about a game I've been very excited for. Finally came out yesterday. I finished it today. Assassin's Creed Revelations. If you know me, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. It's my favorite video game franchise, and I was so stoked for this game. And being that I finished it today, I am just that's my review right there. See, it was so good. Anyway, let me get down to the nitty-gritty, why it was so awesome. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you've got to play this game. I mean, after what happened in Brotherhood, you just need closure. And this doesn't give you finality in Desmond's story, but it wraps up Altair's life and Ezio's life. It puts a nice little bow on it and says, here you go. I don't want to talk about the story just yet. I want to talk about gameplay. Most of the gameplay, the free running, the combat has been largely unchanged from Brotherhood, except with the addition of you have two weapon wheels now. One for melee weapons, one for ranged weapons. Which, it's a little bit clunky to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's fine. One thing I didn't really care for in combat was that I'm one of the people who does 99% of open combat with the hidden blades. A lot of the guards that you run into have these big long speared halberd type things, and it's really difficult to get inside their swing and kill them that way. But if you kick them, you can do a speed kill and then take everybody else out. That still works beautifully. It's still fun. It's still perfect. Another thing that they added that I didn't like was the den defense mode. You can still overtake, this game's version of Borgia Towers. It's Byzantine towers, Templar towers, whatever you want to call them. You take those over and you turn them into an assassin's den. This time, however, the Byzantines can come back and try to take your den over. If your notoriety or Templar awareness this time gets too high, it's very easy to keep it from getting that high. But if it does, then you have to go into a tower defense minigame called Den Defense. It's pretty clunky, doesn't work all that well, kind of boring, but it's very easy to avoid it. And if you don't answer the call to go and defend your den, they take it over, and you can just go take it back later. It's not a big deal. The recruits, you don't use them as much. They added a lot of depth to the way that you get the recruits. You actually have to, rather than just saving them from the guards or whatever, you actually have to go through a mission to gain their allegiance. Some of them. And then to level them up, there's a lot of other stuff that you do, and you start to kind of get to know their characters. They're actually characters now rather than just NPCs. So that's nice. The setting, Constantinople, it's kind of like Rome and kind of like the Holy Land from the first game. So it's kind of blending that, but a lot of it looks far too similar to other areas, so it's really easy to get lost. But the map is so much better this time. If you're lost, you just pull up the map and you're good. So that's fine. Bridging the gap between gameplay and story. The overarching thing that you're trying to do is unlock the door to Altair's library in Masyaf. This door is big, and it takes 5 keys. Once you find these, you access memories that Altair left behind for other assassins to find, to get all the keys together and put them in the door to get into his library to discover the secrets that he left behind. In doing that, you're finishing Altair's story from the first game, and it's really, really good. The way that they constructed these, they're really short, but you really start to understand Altair as a character and the things that he went through before and after the first game. Also, you are trying to stop the Byzantines, aka Templars, from retaking Constantinople. So you're hunting down people, giving them the whole... That's also really fun. The characters that you meet are really cool and really interesting, and you'll like them, you'll love them. And Ezio gets a love interest, and she plays a big role in hunting down the Masyaf keys. The keys, you find them in these... They're this game's answer to the Assassin Tombs or the Romulus layers from Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. So they're these long, almost linear kind of places that you go into, and they're some of the most fun parts of the game. Especially key number 3, where you're running along, you're chasing this boat of Templars through these caverns. They're going down this river, you're trying to beat them there. And it's just, that one was the most fun, but also the most frustrating, because that was where I did encounter a glitch there was a timer that came up, and it was saying reduce distance to target, and their boat was not moving, and I could not get any closer. And so I got desynchronized many, many times. So then I had to take my time getting to that point so that they were a little further along, and then I took them out, and it was great. So that's really good. The rest of the gameplay, it's pretty much the same as the previous games, Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. You know, the hook blade. I gotta talk about the hook blade. Some of the reviews I was reading online before this came out were saying that the hook blade is really cool, but it does a few kind of annoying things. Mainly, when you're climbing, it makes this annoying clunk, whatever, metal on stone. And it was an annoying sound. Shut up. It actually made climbing a lot faster, a lot more fluid, and you can understand why Ezio would need that, being 52 years old in the game at the time. I like the hook blade. And also, when you're like running along and there's a line of guards in front of you, you can just run up, hook them, and jump right over the top of them and keep running. Doesn't break momentum or anything. It's beautiful. In Desmond's storyline, you're trapped inside the Animus because of what happened at the end of Brotherhood. Which, if you haven't played it, why are you even watching this? At the end of Brotherhood, he went into a coma and got plugged back into the Animus. Desmond's mind is broken. But as you're going along in Ezio's story, you'll find these little glowing white things. You collect enough of those are Animus data fragments. Get enough of those, you can access Desmond's journey. And these are actually in first person, which I thought I would hate it because I can't stand first person. It makes me really uncomfortable. You're going through these really kind of surreal, like MC Escher meets Salvador Dali kind of environments of basically data inside the Animus. And you're putting platforms to get through these things, and there's areas that can knock the platforms down and stuff. It's kind of like Portal, but not the same as Portal. It's the same kind of idea. You're puzzle solving from a first person platforming kind of perspective. And it works really well, surprisingly. So you're going along through these things, and as you're going along, there's Desmond's memories from when he left the Assassins as a kid, when he was 16. He left their compound. He didn't have a choice being born into the Assassins. Anyway, you go through these sections, and it's really cool and really interesting, and you learn more about Desmond, and you start to like Desmond more, if you didn't know already. Multiplayer, I have not played the multiplayer because I'm not a multiplayer gamer. Bomb crafting. You will never use it. They made this huge deal about, oh, you're gonna be able to make bombs now, and there's like 300 different combinations of bombs that you're gonna use. You never use them. I mean, there's a couple instances where to get 100% sync, you might need a couple bombs. But other than that, they don't do anything for you. They don't help you, and they actually kind of hinder you a little bit. One thing that's kind of annoying is there's still the economic system. You can still buy businesses and get money put into your bank account to use in other areas of the game. What's kind of annoying about that is every time you buy a business, your Templar awareness goes up. And it's really easy to bring that back down. You just go and bribe a herald. You can't pull down posters anymore. You just go bribe a herald. It's 100 acre, I think, was the currency. You just go and you give him money, and then you go along your merry way. But that was just kind of obnoxious. The ending, I want to talk about the ending so badly, but I know there are people who haven't finished the game yet who the ending is just so amazing. You have to experience it for yourself. You can't just be like, oh, what was the ending? I'm going to watch that on YouTube. I can't even put into words how great the ending is and how well and emotionally they wrapped up Ezio's story as well as Altair's stories. At one point, I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. You, playing as Ezio, get to see Altair, and you get to sit with Altair. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to give my verdict now. Is it better than Assassin's Creed 1? Yes, it is. Assassin's Creed 1 was, it was the jumping off point, but largely it was kind of a tech demo. And it was a really impressive tech demo. A really fun game to play, and got me hooked on the series. It's a great game, but Revelation's definitely better than this. Still, if you've never played Assassin's Creed, play this one first. Is it better than Assassin's Creed 2? No. Although, it comes very, very close. Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite in the series. I give it a resounding 10 out of 10. This is just like, it was so story-wise, gameplay-wise, the leap that it made from the previous game, Assassin's Creed 1, was just amazing. This game is the best one in the series. Still, you need to play this one after you play the first one. Is it better than Assassin's Creed Brotherhood? It is better than Brotherhood. Rate Revelations as being a perfect blend of the first 3 games. Everything that was good about the first 3 games, well, not everything, but the good things about the first 3 games, they put into Revelations. And it came out perfectly, but there are still a few things that weren't so great. Brotherhood, it's no secret that I wasn't a big fan of it at first, and story-wise it just wasn't as good. I love it now, having played it a second time, but Revelations is superior to this game. Revelations, I'm going to give it a number. Now, remember, Assassin's Creed 1, I give it an 8. Assassin's Creed 2, I give it a 10. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I give it an 8. Same as Assassin's Creed 1. Assassin's Creed Revelations, I give it a 9. I'm not saying that any of these games are bad games. They are all fantastic, and you need to play them. Especially, start from the first, go to the second, then the third, then the fourth. When we know there's going to be an Assassin's Creed game next year, and we know it's going to be the culmination of Desmond's story, and where they take that, I'm so excited for it. Revelations, awesome game. You gotta play it if you've played the other 3. If you haven't played the other 3, play those first. They're amazing. One final note, this Revelations is probably the shortest game in the series. It was very, very quick and simple to get through, but they packed so much into it, it doesn't feel like a short game. It's like there's so much that happens, it just feels like this huge game compacted down. It's kind of like Portal 2. How Portal 2 was a short game, but it was so well crafted that it felt like you had done so much more than you really did. It's the same way with Revelations. You gotta play it. Fantastic game, well worth the money. I said the other day, this game is going to blow my mind and break my heart, and it did, on so many levels. There's emotion, there's humor, there's action, tons of action. You get to see Ezio mature, and you get to see Altair mature, and you get to see Desmond mature. It's like they're all growing up, and it's just amazing, and they tie everything together at the end so that the next game is going to be all Desmond. I've got to stop talking, but I could go on and on and on and on and on about this. Okay, so verdict, Assassin's Creed Revelations, 9 out of 10. Gotta play it. I've said that so many times. Play it, love it, enjoy it, requiescat in pace.